5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is go. Welcome to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the big butch manly movie podcast that is FAB. I'm Shane Holland.
And I'm Andrew Wheeler.
Today we are talking about Thunderbirds, the 1965 and 1966 series created by Gerry and Sylvia Anderson, with the voices of Sylvia Anderson, Ray Barrett, Peter Dineley, Shane Rimmer, and David Graham, and music by Barry Gray.
Shane Rimmer, right?
Shane Rimmer's a great name, and you can find me on OnlyFans. So, Thunderbirds ran for 2 series and 32 episodes between 1965 and 1966, and there were also a couple of movies and a couple of remakes which were far less successful. The series pioneered a technique called Supermarionation, which uses puppets with electronic moving parts. Everybody loves puppets. The most enduring and popular of the Andersons' projects, Thunderbirds was an action-adventure series about international rescue, an organization that rescues people in peril using 5 high-tech vehicles piloted by the Tracy brothers. They're frequently assisted by London agent Lady Penelope and her chauffeur Parker, and the support team of Jeff Tracy, Brains, and Tintin Kyrano. Thank you.
I feel like you should be in frame when you're talking.
I guess so. I'm but a puppet. I can't move into frame on my own. Andrew, what is your experience with the Thunderbirds?
I mean, I am British, therefore I did grow up with it. It's one of those shows that has always been on. Like, I mean, literally, the fact that it's only 2 seasons and only,
32 episodes.
That's crazy to me. It doesn't feel like there's that little of it because it was always in rotation. And it aired 10 years before I was born, 20 years before you were born. But I didn't have the sense, I mean, I guess I had the sense of it being an old show, but I didn't think of it as not being contemporary to me, really. Like, because by the time I was watching it, it was 15, 20 years old, you know.
I mean, by the time I was watching it, it was 30 years old, and it felt quite contemporary then.
Yeah, and in some ways, like, just more modern than a lot of other stuff, because it was adventure and it was high-tech, and, like, yeah, it was offering me things that a lot of other shows weren't offering, and just the use of marionettes and miniatures for all these action sequences. It was like, this is the most high-action thing that could possibly be, because we didn't know, like, what cinema was going to be capable of. So if you wanted to see entire buildings going up in flames and spaceships and et cetera, this was the show. This was the one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it experienced a very popular resurgence in the 90s.
Yes.
And it aired over here in Canada on maybe YTV at the time. And I remember falling in love with that show and thinking it was brand new. The fact that each episode is 48 minutes long and it is like a children's show, children today could never. You could never sit a child down for nearly a full hour,
honestly,
to watch this in particular. It is only just now beginning to show signs of age, I feel, but also it's still so good and so watchable.
Yeah, the fact that you can just stick it on, it's on YouTube. I don't know if it's there legally or not.
It is. It's on the ITV channel.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah, that's the same channel that originally aired it. And yeah, the fact that you can just stick it on, have it in the background, enjoy the music and the yeah, great, like perfect background TV in a way. I'm like, even as a kid, I'm not sure how often I sat down and watched an hour of Thunderbird.
Yeah, same. And it's also the kind of show where do you really need to watch the full hour? No. I mean, as a kid, I'm there for the titles and when the Thunderbirds take off. Yeah. And maybe one of the action set pieces, because each episode seems to contain multiple different action pieces, so that like a kid can come in and out of the room and still take part in the nuance of the episode.
And of course the Lady Penelope section.
And the Lady Every child is here for the Lady Penelope.
Every child loves Lady Penelope.
Yeah, we're gay. I had die-cast Thunderbirds 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Oh,
Thunderbird 4, the submarine, came inside a pod which detached
amazing.
from Thunderbird 2, and they were like they weren't huge. They were maybe yay big, but I loved those things, and I'm sure they still exist in a bucket in my dad's house somewhere.
Right.
And I need to go over to my dad's place and find those because they are incredible pieces. They were so detailed.
I need to get out to Valley Village and find them.
Yes, I'm sure they exist. I wanted the Tracy Island playset so
did everyone. Yeah, this was a huge toy in the 90s during that big resurgence. And the kids magazine show Blue Peter, because Tracy Island was so popular as a playset, it sold out everywhere. And so Blue Peter did a public service, which is weird because they're a BBC show. This is an ITV show, but the BBC is kind of agnostic about some of these things. And they taught kids how to make a Tracy Island as a craft set. And it is the single most popular craft project that Blue Peter ever ran. And this is a show that was on like 3 times a week, 40, 50 years. And Tracy Island remains iconic in the memory. Yeah, it was a really impressive build. And yeah, you could like send off to get the instruction sheet. And eventually they were like, we can't keep sending you instruction. But eventually the internet happened and they were like, you can print it off.
Do I need to print off the instructions and build myself a Tracy?
Maybe you do.
Maybe I do. It would fit, honestly, in this home pretty well.
I think, Jomar's going to want to join in.
Yeah.
But you have to invite me as well.
Absolutely. I'm going to need some like details inside the Tracy home, the furniture.
My God.
For each of the 2-foot tall marionettes. Those marionettes were 2 feet tall.
So crazy.
Imagine walking into that storage room at ITV Studios at in the dark of the morning and just seeing a bunch of lifeless faces.
With just eyebrows.
Thick eyebrows. And their eyes themselves are about 3 times the normal size of human eyes. The puppets are both beautiful and upsetting.
And now I'm thinking, I love all the miniature furniture and stuff, but actually it's not that miniature.
No,
there's not 1/12 there.
Furniture.
It's
children's fashion furniture.
Yeah, 1/3 scale. Well,
yeah, everything's 1/3 scale.
1/12.
Yeah, God, and it's so beautiful. I cannot wait to talk about the fashion of the show. We will get there. Anything else you want to mention? We watched 2 episodes in preparation for today, but also I've been watching multiple episodes over the last few weeks when I realized it was available for free on YouTube. But today we watched Sun Probe and The Cham Cham. And I also sent you one in preparation, the introduction episode, Welcome to Tracy Island, which is a nice and I recommend it to you, the viewer. It's a 20-minute rundown of what Tracy Island is, who the characters are going to be, what International Rescue does.
So we already covered that.
But we covered that. So let's talk about the women.
Yes. I mean, there aren't a lot of them.
There are 3. Main.
You're counting Grandma?
Grandmas are women, Andrew.
I don't know. I saw that puppet. I'm not sure.
Okay,
what
could be someone in drag.
It was terrifying. How often is Grandma in it?
Surprisingly oft.
Well, I choose not to believe it. It's Lady Penelope is the standout, and even though she's only in half the episodes, I think,
maybe,
which is crazy, she endures as an icon of fashion, of feminism. This was so the show. As we said, we credit the show to Gerry Anderson and Sylvia Anderson. A lot of people tend to just name check Gerry Anderson, who is the person that created Supermarionation and was behind this and Thunderball and Stingray and all these other incredible Supermarionation shows. And eventually Terrorhawks, I think, which was a wild one. And Captain Scarlet.
And Captain Scarlet.
Can't forget Captain Scarlet.
Probably the most popular one because he was hot.
And Captain Black, who was an evil clone. So that honestly, the imagination goes wild.
Imagine.
So anyway, Gerry Anderson is the credited creator of all of these shows. Sylvia Anderson is the credited co-creator of this show specifically, and probably some of the others. She was very heavily involved in this. Specifically, she was heavily involved in creating Lady Penelope and Parker and fighting for that character to be on the show and to be a different kind of female hero than the sort of ones that they'd had in previous Gerry Anderson projects. So yeah, Lady Penelope, voiced by Sylvia Anderson, based physically on Sylvia Anderson, so she must have had huge eyes. And also all of her clothes are designed by Sylvia Anderson.
What?
So it's a great, this is such a wonderful author insert character. I'm going to read a comment that Sylvia gave. What do the Americans think of us Brits? They think we're either cockneys or posh ladies in stately homes. Okay, that's what we'll give them.
Wow.
She was a genius.
She was. Side note, one of the saddest things about the Thunderbirds in general is that it only lasted 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Because they pitched it to the 3 major American networks as part of their longevity, NBC, ABC, and CBS, and none of them ended up picking it up. NBC had a bid, but when deals with the other 2 fell through, ABC or NBC pulled out as well, and that ended the financing of Thunderbirds. Can you imagine the universe where Thunderbirds ended up being aired internationally in 1966, and how much longer and more tenured the show could have been? How much more they could have done with it with all of that American money?
The problem is they pitched it all as international. It's international rescue. The lead characters are all Americans, but there's also some British characters to make sure it's appealing to both sides of the Atlantic. But Americans don't care about international. It should have just been US rescue.
Well, I mean, a lot of the episodes,
a lot of them are
on saving America.
But as soon as you put international, Americans are like, why do I care if they save someone on a mountain?
And yet they're you know what, for people who insert themselves into international politics. Yeah.
But not to rescue anything.
Right. Huge key difference here. Lady Penelope is not a Bond woman. She is the Bond of this show. And that's incredible. And so ahead of its time that it's ludicrous.
Yeah, she's a spy. Literally, she is a spy. She's a supermodel, and she is an aristocrat, so a social doyenne. And those are all Bond things to be. Be hot, be a social chameleon, and be a spy. So, and how many Bond films had there been when she was introduced to the world?
There were only 3 Bond films. Dr. No from Russia and Goldfinger came out by 1965, and I think Thunderball would have come out the same year as the premiere of Thunderbirds. Thunderball Thunderbirds. Oh my God. A remake of Thunderball in Supermarionation, which is honestly so close to what you get in Thunderball.
Honestly, I think I would like the underwater scenes more.
Yeah.
Puppets. I mean, they are puppets, but there's too much.
It's almost wonderful.
Human stuff.
Sylvia Anderson is also, I don't think it should be understated that she's a great voice actress in this as well. She, stately as Lady Penelope is, these puppets' faces don't move. They are blank. Their mouth up and down, and I think they have 3 model heads, like a worried face, a happy face, and a blank face that you can project whatever on.
And the eyes move. That's the Supermarionation.
Yeah. So for her to build this character that we care about out of this, and she also voices Tintin, correct?
I think so.
She must.
She didn't
He was right, and she does a great job. Yeah, Penny's a fashion icon, and also she and Parker are meant to be the comic relief of this show, which works and doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, she's not the butt of the jokes.
No.
Parker's the butt of the jokes.
Correct. But
she is cool and unflappable.
But you always get one with the other. In the end, her role, but it's not relegated to comic relief.
No.
She drives the plot, but like Bond, she gets to have comic moments that come from that, which I really appreciate.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think, honestly, Lady Penelope, she's the standout character of this show for me, as a young queer boy and as an old queer boy. But also, just in the pantheon of British, classic British characters, not even just spies, Lady Penelope is way up there. Like, she's one of the best characters on British TV, I think.
Agreed. We also have to talk about Tintin Kyrano. Look, this could be a much more complicated character than she is. And I'm going to say, and look, I've said so many things that could get me canceled, but I think they do the character justice in a way that is unexpected. She is not treated differently because she is of Asian descent. She is a member of the team. She gets to go on missions with the team and is often an integral part of the success of the team. She is a love interest. And while her fashion sometimes reflects her heritage, often she is just wearing like the same stylish clothes that you would see on Lady Penelope. She isn't always wearing the Mandarin collar. She isn't always in like Chinese silk dresses. Sure, that is sometimes a part of her fashion. But
also sometimes part of Lady Penelope's fashion.
But also, yes. I mean, and you'll notice...
And that's a question.
You'll notice in the Tracy household, they have like art, like East Asian artwork all over the...
And samurai print behind or next to Jeff's.
Exactly. So, I mean, this obviously comes out during that, excuse the word, Orientalist phase in British culture and Western culture. Those influences are a bit front and center. But, and we've said this about You Only Live Twice, it is done with a nod of respect instead of look at them, aren't they weird?
But at the same time, that can be fetishistic.
And it is. But anyway, really, like, watching this, I was shocked that Tintin isn't just a racist caricature. That said.
And also isn't just like, she's not, I mean, her dad is like the housekeeper, but she's not just like a secretary character, which is what I kind of like in my memory. She's like, wait, did she have a job or did she just sun herself by the pool? Which would be fine. It's a beautiful play.
Never gets used. Almost like you couldn't get those puppets to swim.
Maybe Thunderball is a bad idea. But yeah, no, she is like, she's a polyglot. She helps in the lab. She helps on missions. She helps Lady Penelope on a spying mission in the Cham Cham.
The Cham Cham. It's not an explanation for what the Cham Cham is.
Didn't help.
It didn't.
And yeah, Sylvia again she created Tintin to redress the balance of the cast, she said. Or that was attributed to her, maybe. And it seems like she spent so much of her capital on Lady Penelope that she couldn't really get another female character to be sort of top tier. Like, Tintin's not in the opening credit.
No. And she's not in every episode.
She's not in every episode. And she doesn't redress the balance. There are still 7 men and 1 woman in the Tracy Island, like, core cast. And yes, okay, there's Grandma, but...
Now let's talk about
Grandma and Tintin's dad. Like, those are very tertiary characters. Grandma,
a terrifying creature with jowls that come down to her knees. I hope those are jowls. She is on a couple of occasions like a big part of the story. There's an episode where Alan and Grandma get trapped on a suspension bridge that I watched.
That's just like Alan to go take his grandma out.
I mean, look, we'll
talk about
that. You know what? Speaking of,
there are other women who sometimes need to be saved internationally.
Okay.
Not that often, because it's often like pilots. It's people in dangerous jobs, and of course they didn't know that women could have those. But occasionally there'll be a woman with an evil child trapped in a flaming building. The children, they should never have children in these shows.
Now, we should mention that what was the cause of that flaming building? A bloody woman driver. And that was the punchline to that episode. Did you end up watching the end of that?
I did not watch the end of it.
I literally, it ends with, and how did the building catch on fire? Well, someone drove into it at high speed. Let me guess. It was a woman.
I just feel for Sylvia Anderson. Putting up with every day.
I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to be a woman today.
No, it's fine now.
Oh, yeah. I started watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, as you well know.
All right.
And I've been
checked Real Housewives.
I've been extolling its virtues to literally anyone who will listen to me at this point. It is the only show for women between the ages of 40 and 60 to appear on television. And for women to express themselves unfiltered, it's incredible. Go to my TikTok and watch my reaction videos.
You get to see nipple.
Get to see my nipple. And also on Real Housewives. Let's talk about the boys.
Boys. I mean, I do think there was something foundational about these boys. The 10-year-old me, they're all modeled on like American movie star type.
Mm-hmm.
But just the combination of like the high cheekbones, big eyes, thick brows, square heads. Like when I think about the men that I'm attracted to now, like thick eyebrows play such a big part. And then I look back at this show and I'm like, is this why?
I mean, look, they're hot. I don't know how else to say it. They all okay, I have a breakdown here. Scott is very much like an all-American star quarterback.
Yeah.
But also his face is apparently modeled on Sean Connery.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which I can see and explains so much about where he falls in my ranking of the boys. Virgil looks like a film star. We'll get to Alan. John is the astronaut who doesn't get a lot of screen time, but is a blonde bombshell.
And he's the skinny intellectual, so
yes,
he appeals to it. Every boy band has to have one that's sort of...
the George Harrison. You've got Gordon, who's usually a strawberry blonde, and he's modeled, obviously, after the cover of a physique pictorial.
Is he?
No.
That'd be amazing.
I mean, I'll show you. I have a picture of him.
With his penis out? I've seen your physique pictorials. Cover the penis. Cover the all the penises.
I mean, is that not Gordon? Come on.
I mean, he's also giving a bit of like Donald O'Connor.
Yes.
Like he's the comedy one. He's the jokester. And he's a bit safe, maybe.
He's the safe choice. Wow. Read him to Phil.
Sorry about it.
And then there's Alan. Who, sure, has a girlfriend, but is definitely a twink and is literally modeled after Robert Reed, also known as Mike Brady, famously gay actor.
I mean, he also gives Tab Hunter.
Tab Hunter, absolutely.
Yeah, so there's a lot of hot boys in this show, even though they're all 2-foot-tall puppets.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you're not comfortable acknowledging that, spend a little time with your therapist, work through the issues you have with just acknowledging that things can be hot that aren't people. I mean, it's just, I'm sorry, I can be sexy.
Art is sexy. Okay.
And some people are attracted to horses. I mean, let's live and let live. Don't harass horses.
Don't harass animals. How did this become part of this episode? Jesus. Jeff Tracy, Silver
Daddy.
Fox, total daddy, is this beautiful baritone, mid-Atlantic accent. He is front and center in every episode. He is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right voice.
And he also has extreme wealth and uses it for good. That's unheard of.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's wild.
How much jet fuel does Jeff Tracy buy every day?
I mean, honestly, again, setting a precedent that just led me astray my entire life, that I thought that, oh yeah, billionaires can be good people. No, they can't. You can't be a billionaire and a good person when there are starving people in the world. That doesn't make sense.
No, doesn't work out that way.
But if you do use your money to create an international rescue organization, I guess you're a good billionaire.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeff Tracy is the only good billionaire.
There is only one good billionaire, and that's Jeff Tracy, who for tall marionette. There's also brains. I hate brains. We both wear glasses, but neither of us. I mean, it's kind of like looking inwards.
Yeah, I don't want to look at the nerd in glasses.
You have to do that every damn day.
The reason I hang sheets over my mirrors.
Oh, I thought that was a picture like Dorian Gray.
Yeah. And also I'm in mourning for my youth. Yeah, there's a blog, a Gerry Anderson blog called Security Hazard. And they ran pictures of all of the Tracy brothers through prettyscale.com, which ranks your prettiness based on a bunch of, I don't know, whatever criteria prettiness is categorized on. And they determined that John was the prettiest, followed by Gordon, followed by Alan, followed by Scott, followed by Virgil. And I'm going to say I think that is very much pretty and not handsome, and that skews the results quite a bit. Okay.
I feel biased, but is Alan not the prettiest?
Well, I would think so. I think John is prettier if you sort of, like, his face is maybe a bit more proportional because he's then slimmer. And they all have the problem that, like, you know, their eyes are too big and are too widely spaced. And eye distance is one of those things on these weird pseudo, like, ethnographic prettiness sites. All that stuff's really kind of dodgy, but you know, fun exercise for puppets. And yeah, I think maybe there's something about John's like structure that maybe is more into top better. But no, I agree. Alan is the actual prettiest. He's the youngest. He's the sort of hot-headed one. He's the romantic, and he has incredible fashion, which we will get to. All right, what's your ranking of the boys?
Okay.
Or do we want to go like back and forth? First place to fifth or fifth place to first?
Let's go back and forth. Fifth to first.
Okay.
So for me, fifth place would have to be Gordon.
That's my fifth as well.
I just got a little closer. Yeah, I mean, look,
He's a bit of a Paul McCartney.
yeah, he's just a little, I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't work for me. He definitely has that sort of Liverpool bob going on, and he's funny. And God save us from men who think they're funny. I mean, honest to God.
Oh, this does not bode well for us.
Fourth place, I have gone with, and this might be controversial, John.
Interesting.
Because I think his mouth is weird.
You know what? Actually, that is where I would put John as well.
Is it where you put Jane?
Is it where I put John?
Let's be true to yourself, please. Where's your list?
Oh, I did it in my head. And I'm doing it in my head as we're saying.
Okay, great.
Well, it's just that I know who my top two are, and the rest are...
All right, so you just need to work out your 3 and your 4.
No, so it definitely is John.
Okay, great. Right? Yeah, there's something that, again, I mean, he doesn't get much screen time, so you don't get to spend any time with him.
Gerry, this makes no sense to me. Gerry Anderson hated the character of John. What do you, like...
First, change him.
Then change him. You have all the power. And what is there to hate? I don't
honestly
understand. He's an astronaut and
an intellectual, a scientist, a published author.
Like, did he give him too much good qualities?
I wonder if Gerry Anderson's thinking was, I've created this character who is too effete and unmanly for me. And he thought that was the gay one, and he was wrong.
He was wrong, for sure.
Did not know what he was saying.
Although,
I mean, John could be gay, but he's
John
not gay.
Is a little coded for me.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel bad for ranking him low, to be honest. But I think it definitely has to do with...
I think there's a gay you rank high.
There is. But it might, like, his low ranking has more to do with the fact that he doesn't get any screen time in a few episodes. It gets a little screen time in a lot of episodes. And often in episodes that he's in prominently, that's nothing to do because he's stuck on the space station, which must have been expensive to film, must have been a gigantic extra set. They had to go to space. And, like, what can you do?
Like, if he had been, like, running comms all the time, then he would have had more to do. But still, running comms, as we know, does not give you... It gives you more screen time. It doesn't give you more action. They don't end up using him for comms most of the time. So,
no.
Or even as, like, for observation. Literally, we watched an episode set in space, and the guy on the space station did not appear in the episode.
Crazy. How did that happen? So, John, I'm sorry, pal. You're number 4. 3 is going to have to be Virgil.
This is where we differ. I have Scott in my 3rd place.
I get it. And honestly...
this checks out.
Thunderbird 2 is my favorite Thunderbird. So it actually hurts a little that I would rank Virgil lower than I would John. But the only reason is that I just find John that much more attractive. I've always liked Sean Connery. Scott, sorry. I've always liked Sean Connery. I just think that the action star, the quarterback, the himbo is obviously my type.
My problem with Scott is that he is the sort of square-jawed leader type, and I've always found Boy Scouts a bit of a drag. Fictional Boy Scouts. The actual Boy Scouts I was never a member of as well, so I guess I find actual Boy Scouts a drag, despite my mother's repeated attempts to get me to join either the Boy Scouts or the older boys, and I'm not a joiner. So yeah, so Scott was always a bit doughy for me, whereas Virgil, who is my number 3, Scott's my number 3, Virgil's your number 3. Is Scott your number 2? And Virgil is my number 2.
So yeah, they occupy very similar spaces.
Yeah. Brunette.
They're both brunettes. And I like them both. Like, there is a clear, for me, divide from 1, 2, and 3 down to 4 and 5.
Yeah. And they are the 2 eldest, right?
Yes.
I think, or is John older than Virgil?
I mean,
doesn't matter. Yeah, Virgil, I think, just has a bit more, like, he's the sensitive artistic type. Like, he paints, he plays the piano.
Yeah.
There's there's a little bit of the tortured poet in there insofar as a 2-foot marionette can be. Like, there's just a bit more complexity. I think he sees the world through a more complex lens than Scott does.
And that's not what I want. That's me. I want to occupy that space. I need you to be rough around the edge.
Right. No, I get that. I could like to imagine the peace and quiet that would come with just having a himbo in the house.
It's so loud up in here. I just want us to be quiet out here. Okay, so that's our number 3 and 2.
Yeah.
Which means, once again, number 1 with a golden bullet is Alan.
It's Alan.
He's pretty and he's handsome.
Yes.
You can be both. You can be one or the other. This is a man who is both.
He is stylish.
He is stylish. He is just so effeminate.
And we should save some of this for the queerness section because there's not much else to talk about. But yeah, he has vibes, and his best friends are all women. Like, he loves Tintin. He loves Lady Penelope.
Mm-hmm.
And, people say that he's crushing on these women. Well, maybe he is, but
I had a few crushes on women,
right?
As a child.
And he's very young. He doesn't know much about the world. He probably has amazing abs.
Probably. Looks like a squirrel in heat.
Talk about the music?
Let's talk about the music.
I mean, I don't have a lot to say because all I really want to say is it's great.
It's amazing.
It's like that opening theme is one of the all-time great musical themes.
And that's not like personal, subjective. Objectively, by many publications, the Thunderbird themes has been named one of the most iconic, memorable, influential TV themes ever.
Starting with that countdown, 5, and then what?
We go.
Is it brass?
Yes, it's brass.
And then we get to the strings, and the timpanis come in. I mean, honestly, like the fact that you can tell this is an orchestra performing this, and it is using all the parts of the orchestra, and it is so like empowering. Like, I should have it as my alarm, except I don't set an alarm, so that would be weird.
If I set that as my alarm, I would wake up like every day. It would be a big jar.
What do I need to say?
Yeah.
Well, you would have the 5, 3, 2, 1 to get ready.
No, see that you get the 5, and you're like, oh, immediately. The cat would go crazy because he sleeps at the foot of my bed every morning. It would just be all ever going, just claws into my side. Yeah, it's an incredible, incredible theme called the Thunderbirds March. If you don't know what we're talking about, immediately go and listen to it. It's free on Spotify and on YouTube. And then the music in the episodes is full orchestra. Yeah. Like, we're talking like 20-piece orchestra. And for at least the first, I think it's either 8 or 12, every episode, new music. And then it gets recycled and we get other Supermarionation property music tossed in bits and pieces. But those are also all fully orchestrated. So in the end, you just get like these really cinematic episodes, which are uplifted by cinema quality sound. And as we know from Bond films, from Star Wars, sometimes the music can make the action that much more impactful. Sometimes the music can tell a story the way that a blank, unmoving marionette face can't.
Yeah, Barry Gray wrote all the music and worked with Gerry Anderson on all his properties. And yeah, like the fact that this is a kids show with puppets, I think actually meant they could get away with more. Like they could be more bombastic, more theatrical, and it's so effective. Like it really is like just fun to listen to the music. The action sequences are all beautifully scored. Even the stings, like between scenes or when something dramatic happens, when like ba, 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 ba. It's perfection.
It really reminded me of Star Trek too, like the
Oh, yeah.
original series. There's a lot of Star Trek identity in Thunderbirds,
Yes.
and Thunderbirds came first. So I imagine that this show did influence Gene Roddenberry in some way. This
Everybody's like, yeah, we could have one woman, maybe a second one that appears very rarely.
But let's put her on the phones. Gerry Anderson said that he was envisioning like a bonanza in space or in the future. Bonanza being like an episode of the week with a core family who have different strengths, but use their strengths to pull together to benefit the people around them. And Gene Roddenberry also envisioned Star Trek as bonanza in space.
And Wagon Train.
But Wagon Train to the stars. So like their identity is so like intertwined that surely this show influenced the development of Star Trek. There's no way it couldn't.
I mean, and they are of a piece culturally. Like they are both so infused with 60s vibes. Yeah, they very much feel like sister works.
Sisters. Let's talk about the fashion. Oh my God.
I've forgotten how good the fashion and set design was in this show, honestly, because it is phenomenal.
Incredible. The detail is astounding. Like, I was just looking at, there's this really beautiful shot in the space probe episode where we kind of are looking at the entire Tracy family minus John from above in like a boardroom as they're trying to figure out how do we save this sun probe. And the floor is like this beautiful jeweled mosaic, like a terrazzo, and you have wood paneled walls, but it's not like fake wood. It is real wood paneled walls. And
it's a sunken lounge.
And
it's a lot of like different seating pieces, but they all vibe together. Like it's eclectic, but it's not discordant. Like this really good interior design work.
Really good. Like the couches are all like, the fabric is real fabric. And like these are probably like 4-foot pieces. Like we said, these aren't just miniatures. It is children's furniture, but it is Art Deco mid-century children's furniture.
It makes me want to start making tiny furniture.
Yeah.
And I am a klutz, so I'm not going.
Imagine if you started making your own furniture.
I mean,
this one collects a lot of random pieces of furniture. Every time I go over to his place, there is something new. Oh, is that chair new? Is that screen new? I have a new phone from 1940.
Cute, though.
It would be a real problem if you had that ability.
Yeah. Well, maybe I would sell things then.
I'm trying to convince you to do that anyway.
Jeff's office. Color blocked with a floating desk. It is a dream. The fact that he has the samurai print on the wall, just incredible decor everywhere. The bookshelves in there, and then an iron gate between him and the living room, the sunken lounge. Brilliant. I mean, it's such a beautiful, like it's an absolute dream house.
Yeah, grand pianos. We even got to see like Tintin's bedroom when everyone's listening to this cool jazz band play, and like each character's room has its own identity, and you can tell that they have a sense of style. And then you get to the marionettes themselves, and they often wear, like, their outfits are often patterned to the characters. So you get a lot of repetition in terms of, like, the style of what they wear. But also, they have so many different patterns and colors. Jeff's introduction in the Welcome to Thunderbird Island episode, he's wearing this flamingo colored shirt with a suit jacket over top, and it is so stylish. It is absolutely something you would see someone wear today. And then in the next episode, he's wearing something completely different, like a roll neck sweater and slacks. God, it's just so mind-boggling how fashionable this show is.
I mean, we've tried to dress in tribute. Like this, you probably can't even see the pattern. I'm just going to go nipple forward.
Nice.
Look at that beautiful button. This was the most 60s, like, Alan Tracy look that I could come up.
And I got my, like, you will not be able to pick this up, but the pink ice cream cones on my collared shirt. Oh. And I wanted to wear a nice cardigan over top.
We're so chic. Had I had anything from Lady Penelope's wardrobe, I might have worn that. I mean, she is a model in the show and maybe in real life. And she has incredible outfits, again, designed by Sylvia Anderson, but really modeled on the contemporary styles. Like Sylvia Anderson had her finger on the pulse of fashion because every piece that she comes up with feels so truly 60s. There's this Mondrian-inspired coat that she wears to an art gallery. Lady Penelope, not Sylvia. I mean, maybe Sylvia did as well. But like feels very like a real piece, like a Paco Rabanne or something.
A lot of fur hats and fur stoles. And yeah.
Like the Lady Penelope in the opening credits is wearing this orange hat that could be a satellite dish.
And we see satellites in this show, so we know how big those are too.
Yeah.
And the snowsuits, I was shocked in these episodes. Well, first of all, both episodes featured snowsuit scenes. And they were like
the boys for the girl,
right, and form-fitting, but also very modern. God,
and you could fit a ski thruster to the back of your snowsuit.
Now that is fashion.
In contrasting color to the suit you're wearing. Brilliant.
Yeah, you can only go skiing with a friend. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is the kind of shit you're going to see.
I'm out. Yeah, some other key looks I wanted to call out. This avant-garde black and white leather Pierre Cardin coat that she's wearing at one point, which is sort of has a fake sort of choker effect. The keyhole neck blue sheath dress with a white boa. She wears a silk pantsuit with giant beads, like Christine Baranski wishes she had this scale. Yeah, she's so incredibly stylish and of the moment. Tintin gets to wear, again, like she gets to wear a lot of kimonos, but she does have some sort of chic mod looks as well. And then there's the boys.
I mean, we get a lot of cardigans, we get a lot of roll necks, a lot of collared shirts, a lot of short sleeves. I also really like the design of their pilot uniform.
The Britney Spears.
It's Britney Spears. It is truly the Britney Spears look from Toxic. They get like the pilot's triangular hat.
I don't know.
It's a pilot's hat. And these blue bodysuits and like multicolored. Well, it is a solid color set. Each one has a different color.
Yeah. And it goes up to a point.
Yes.
On the shoulder. So good. Yeah. The uniforms are amazing, but also their casual looks. Like John is incredibly dapper. A piece of leisure wear looks. Scott, really fashion forward for a square, but Alan is the one who has like the bouffant blonde hair and incredible shirts, incredible cardigans. Like Alan is a clothes source through and through.
Oh yeah.
And the vehicles?
My God, I can't believe that I haven't mentioned the vehicles yet. The vehicles are beautiful. The vehicles are both future, like they're 60s futurist. Like, which is its style all on its own, right? Lots of extra limbs and exposed bits and pieces. I mean, the pinnacle for me has to be Thunderbird 2 with its forward swept wings. And it's got this gigantic green body and jets coming out the back. It has pods that are detachable, fits other Thunderbirds inside itself. It is so cool. It was my favorite. But the design of Thunderbird 1 is like this sleek, hypersonic jet, and Thunderbird 3 space rocket, which kind of influenced design of rockets of the 60s, or you can see the influence from rocket designs of that era, but it just feels so new and fresh and colorful. I love them.
So I also ranked these. I'm sure you must have a ranking.
Yeah, definitely.
The 5 Thunderbird vehicles plus Fab 1. That's what I'm ranking.
Great. Okay.
So in 6th place, I have Thunderbird 5.
Yes, of course. As a space station, it's clunky and it is rarely featured.
In 5th place?
5th place, Thunderbird 1.
Interesting. I've got 4.
Okay.
But
really?
I think it's just a bit too like a Robin Reliant, like Peppa Pig shaped pencil sharpener kind of thing.
Huh. Interesting.
But I've got Thunderbird 1.
You know the Thunderbird 4 is the yellow submarine.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And we all live on one. So yeah, my 5th place is Thunderbird 4 and my 4th place is Thunderbird.
Okay. Okay. My 4th place would be Thunderbird 3.
Oh, interesting. Your ex-favorite? Or no, that's 2. That's 2 is your former favorite.
In number 3.
Or 4, 3, yes.
It's so hard because they have numbers. We're talking about
Really messed this up.
5, 4. So now 3.
You're right. So in 3rd place, I have Thunderbird 2.
In 3rd place, I have Thunderbird 4.
Okay. 4 is the submarine. 2 is the
bird.
Bird. Is it called that?
They're just called Thunderbird 1
Yeah.
through 5.
I kind of think it looked like an insect. In 2nd place, Thunderbird 3. It's a very chic rocket.
It is. It's beautiful. In 2nd place for me, it is the car.
Fab 1.
Fab 1.
And of course, that means that my number 1 is Fab 1.
And my number 1.
Like Peaceful Voice.
Thunderbird 2.
The
bird. The green bird. The great green bird in the sky. It lays an egg.
It distends its carapace. No, but I do think Thunderbird 2.
Yes. I'm assuming this is the one you're talking about.
The bug. That is the one that is most distinctly, uniquely Thunderbird. Like, that is the one that feels... I love the conception of it, the fact that this is the heavy lifting thing that brings equipment to various catastrophes. So conceptually, it's great. But also just in design, that's the one that I think of when I think of Thunderbirds.
Mm-hmm.
Because no other show designed something that's that sort of like...
Yeah. Yeah.
But it makes total sense. And it is beautiful.
It's a thick beast.
We love a thick beast.
Okay. It's time to talk about the queerness.
60s TV show. Nothing is deliberately queer unless it's a joke. Or dehumanizing in some way.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, those puppets were an early crush for me. A formative crush. And then there's Alan.
And there's Alan, who absolutely queer-coded by today's standards.
Yeah. His sash is the pink sash.
He's got the pink sash. It's right there. Killer was among us the whole time. He's in love with the 2 most beautiful women on the show.
His hair is definitely dyed.
Yeah.
Frosty. His lips are pouty. His girlfriend is very fashionable.
Hangs out with his grandma.
Hangs out with his grandma. And the enunciation when he speaks. That's a boy who has been told how things are done properly.
Yes, that is right. Now, the irony, of course, is...
He's the only one in a relationship with a woman.
But also that John was clearly the effeminate character who the creator then hated. What could be more gay than that, actually? On top of that, Lady Penelope is a fruit fly. I mean...
She's, queer icon.
Queer icon, without a doubt. And literally everyone in the show says FAB, FAB, FAB.
That's true.
Every episode, something is fab. What could be more fab than saying fab?
And a pink Rolls Royce.
And a pink Rolls Royce.
I have to call out Alan's outfit in the Cham Cham, where he's wearing a pink and blue shirt, so trans pride, white pants with a red belt, which is the most gay uniform thing I've ever seen. It's an amazing outfit that I'm like, this is family. And I don't mean Tracy. Family. Gorgeous. I will definitely make sure I put some of these images up on screen.
Thank you.
But there's nothing else queer in this show.
No. This is definitely a show meant for Boy Scouts. But, I mean, here are a couple queer guys who really latched onto the show.
Yep.
So it's either universal appeal or there's something very special about this show that speaks to us. And I think I'm leaning towards the latter. And what that is its sense of fashion and its love of men.
Yeah. A buffet of men.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lady Penelope, Tracy Brothers, all of that feels like Gerry Anderson clearly did not know how gay he was.
Yeah.
But Sylvia Anderson probably did, which is not to speculate on anything. We're talking about mentalities here. Is there a penalty to apply? We haven't talked about the hood.
We haven't talked about the hood. We haven't talked about Tintin's father.
The fact that women are very much secondary is itself something that might be a penalty, except we've already said, like, Penelope and Tintin are both actually really progressive for the time. This is a show that went further than other shows at the time were doing. And clearly Sylvia Anderson was pushing for more and couldn't get it through. And I'm not going to punish her.
No. The choice, I read this, the choice to make the hood an East Asian villain. Malaysian villain?
I think so.
Okay. That choice was because every villain at the time was Russian. And they didn't want it to be seen as a Cold War allegory. They wanted this to feel separate from where the Earth was in the moment of creation, so that it felt futuristic. And in a way, choosing a Malaysian villain while we would see it as a trope and a scapegoat, it was actually
very Fu Manchu coded, very minimalist.
Yeah, but it was done to kind of not be doing what everyone else was doing.
Right.
So, God, it's hard.
It's hard. It's like they didn't want to do the thing people were doing now, so they did the thing people were doing 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, that's not better, really.
No.
So we will get to whether or not we think that's a penalty, but I think we should get into our score.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say the show's a 5 for me. I, as a nearly 40-year-old adult, have watched multiple episodes in the last few weeks from beginning to end. I have found it entertaining. I have found them engaging. I have found things that I didn't know I was going to enjoy in them, and I loved it as a child.
Yeah. I'm going to say it's a 4 from me. I don't think I'm as passionate about it as you are, but I love it. And I love it more from actually re-exploring it with you for this podcast. But like the pacing's a little slow. The politics is a little old-fashioned. But it's like, I commend it to our audience to check it out.
Yeah.
The women.
I mean, only two.
There are only 2
women.
But Lady Penelope is important in the culture. You know, I have to give her the point, and actually discovering how much richer Tintin is as a character than what I remember her being was pretty great, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I also have low expectations for the character of Tintin and was shocked at how well she was treated. I've always loved Lady Penelope, and I always will.
The boys?
The boys, obviously.
Can't help but love them Tracy boys.
Is absolutely a point.
This is one of those times when I'm writing a score down before you've said what it is.
Yeah. I mean, how can I not love that theme song?
I did not know this was going to be a point from me.
Really?
I just didn't remember how beautiful it was. Because I haven't watched it in a long time until we started watching it for this. And just the fact that the fashion is not only beautiful and impeccable, and we're talking here about the sets, the design, all of the fashion. It's so completely in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like, it is absolutely my aesthetic. And it must have been a huge influence it just imprinted on my brain. It's gorgeous. Like, honestly, I would like to buy a book of interiors just from Thunderbird.
It is up there with like Miss Tarot's room in Dr. No, with all of the sets in You Only Live Twice. It is very 60s Bond. It is, for me, very 60s Star Trek. It is also left an imprint on my psyche and how I view the world and fashion. And I love it. Got the
I
point.
may need to make a Lego diorama of Thunderbirds interiors. Queerness. I let my voice go down at the end, thus foreshadowing my score. And queerness.
And queerness cannot get the point. I've been explicit that it must be explicit.
I'm sure that fan art must be out. Oh, I'm a little homework to do later.
Yeah.
No.
No, don't use it.
Don't use AI.
Just draw me a nice picture.
Now, the penalty. Does the hood get the penalty? I'll say two things here. One is he's not actually hit that much.
No.
And the other is that, like, Tintin kind of balances him out to a degree.
Good degree.
She is a heroic character, and her relationship with her uncle, step uncle, whatever it is. No, her father's the housekeeper.
Right.
Hood is her
Right. Of
uncle.
course. Finish the sentence next time.
Her relationship with the hood is like a counteraction to the hood's existence, essentially. And like that's kind of progressive to be like, well, we're going to have a villain who is honestly an offensive cliche, but we are going to have his family be opposed to him and be in the hero set. I think saves it from the penalty for me.
Yeah, for me too. And I'm worried that I'm being too easy on it and that I've given it a perfect score. But sorry, near perfect score. Well, with a bonus, yeah, no.
There's no bonus.
There's no bonus.
You've given it a 9 out of 10. I've given it an 8 out of 10, so it's an 8.5.
I'm fine with that. The show is incredible.
Yeah, I think it deserves it.
It speaks to who I am as a person in a lot of ways.
A marionette.
I'm
A
not
2-foot
yeah.
tall puppet.
portion.
This whole set is like, I'm actually sitting significantly behind Shane to make us look like we're the same height.
Yeah, we have to do that every time we're together. It's so much work.
Yeah, it's a great show. The fact that you can watch it all on YouTube.
For free,
so
legally.
great. Are the movies on there?
They are.
I need to watch Thunderbird 6.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Please tell your friends about it because I think we're pretty FAB.
We are FAB.
Well, until next time, kiss, kiss.
Bang, bang.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to this channel. You can follow Kiss Kiss Bang Bang on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at KKBBpod, or email us at kisskissbangbangpod@gmail.com.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is recorded in Toronto on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples.